Adrien Brody. In the Season 9 premiere of Family Guy, titled And Then There Were Fewer, Adrien Brody became the target of a sharp joke. During a murder mystery dinner at James Woods' mansion, characters accuse Tom Tucker of being the killer. At that moment, a line is delivered. When the movie of the story comes out, I'm going to make sure Adrien Brody plays you. The implication is that Brody's presence would ruin the film, mocking his lack of mainstream appeal. The show later piled on with another gag. In a different scene, Meg goes to a 3D movie starring Brody doing shirtless sit-ups. The humor relies on exaggerating his features, especially his nose, which appears to poke out of the screen in an unflattering way. Brody's reaction was not forgiving. Seth MacFarlane explained that when he met Brody at a party and praised his work in Splice, the actor made it clear there were still hard feelings. MacFarlane confirmed in interviews that Brody was among the celebrities genuinely offended by Family Guy's parody. Sarah Palin. In the Season 8 episode Extra Large Medium, Family Guy took aim at Sarah Palin through a character named Ellen, a girl with Down syndrome who goes on a date with Chris Griffin. During dinner, Ellen casually mentions her parents, saying,
"That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska."
The line is a clear reference to Palin, who at the time had a young son with Down syndrome. The implication struck a nerve. Palin, who was outspoken about her family and public life, considered the joke a direct insult toward her son. She quickly criticized the show, calling Family Guy pathetic and accusing its creators of being heartless and insensitive. She reiterated this stance on the O'Reilly factor, labeling the writers cruel, cold-hearted people and arguing that the joke targeted the disabled community. Seth MacFarlane responded by pointing out that Ellen's voice actress, Andrea Faye Friedman, has Down syndrome herself. Friedman clarified that the line was aimed at Palin's political persona, not her son, and even suggested that Palin lacked a sense of humor. Despite this clarification, Palin maintained her anger, making this one of the most controversial Family Guy parodies involving a politician. Terri Schiavo. In the Season 4 episode Peter-assment, Stewie's preschool class puts on a play. Instead of a light-hearted production, the subject is Terri Schiavo, the woman at the center of a nationally publicized right-to-die case in the United States. The show immediately signals the controversy when Brian questions whether it's too soon for a musical about Terri Schiavo. Despite this, the play continues. On stage, the children sing a song with lyrics such as,
"Oh, oh, Terri Schiavo is kind of alive, oh, what a lively little bugger. Terri Schiavo is kind of alive, oh, the most expensive plant you'll ever see."
The comparison of Schiavo to a houseplant trivialized a case that had deeply divided the country, involving life support, medical ethics, and family rights. The backlash was immediate and widespread. Disability advocates, religious organizations, and Schiavo's family condemned the episode for being cruel and insensitive. Her brother, Bobby Schindler Jr., went as far as asking Fox to cancel Family Guy entirely. The network did not comply, but the anger over the portrayal cemented this as one of the show's most offensive controversies. For Schiavo's family in particular, the parody reopened painful wounds and left them outraged at how their tragedy was mocked. Rachel Bloom. In the Season 17 episode Married with Cancer, Brian begins dating Jess, a woman battling non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. At first, the relationship seems sympathetic, but it's quickly revealed that Brian is motivated by selfishness. He decides to marry Jess not because he loves her, but because he assumes her illness means the marriage will be short-lived. This allows him to appear noble without a long-term commitment. The story takes an unexpected turn when doctors announce Jess's cancer is cured. Suddenly, Brian is trapped in a marriage he never wanted. Jess's new habits frustrate him further, including her weight gain and her enthusiasm for the TV show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. The writers use this detail to deliver a parody of the show's quirky musical number, reducing it to an awkward period song gag and framing it as unattractive and embarrassing to watch. Rachel Bloom, the creator and star of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, noticed immediately. While she didn't lash out with outrage, she admitted she felt the joke carried a dismissive, condescending tone. She argued that it equated enjoying her show with being unlikable. and reflected how male-dominated comedy often minimized women's creative work. Bloom emphasized that she wasn't offended outright, but felt the parody reinforced stereotypes about women-led comedy being trivial or silly. Her response stood out because it was measured but pointed. Rather than attacking Family Guy, she highlighted the broader issue of how female creators are perceived in mainstream comedy. This made her reaction less about personal ego and more about the cultural implications behind the parody. Dax Shepard. In the season 13 episode Our Idiot Brian, Meg pressures Brian to take her SATs, hoping his supposed intellect will secure her a good score. Instead, Brian performs terribly, scoring at the bottom of the class. The storyline develops when Brian collapses and doctors discover he has a benign brain tumor. While the Griffins debate his treatment, the writers drop a quick but sharp jab.
Will he be all right?
I don't know, is Dax Shepard all right?
The line equated Shepard's reputation with uncertainty and underachievement, making him the punchline of an otherwise unrelated plot. Shepard later revealed he was caught off guard by the joke. Unlike other celebrities who reacted with lawsuits or public anger, Shepard chose to address it in conversation with Seth MacFarlane on his podcast, Armchair Expert. He explained that while he understood the joke wasn't meant to belittle him personally, it still stung. Shepard described the insult as subtle but lingering, illustrating how even a throwaway line on a long-running comedy could stick in someone's mind. His response was notable for its honesty and restraint. He admitted it bruised his ego, but also recognized the nuance of parody and satire. Rather than framing it as cruelty, he saw it as a reminder of how jokes can carry unintended weight. Shepard's calm, reflective reaction stood apart from the outrage of others, showing a more mature way of handling Family Guy's often ruthless humor. James Woods. James Woods had one of the most unusual relationships with Family Guy. Unlike most celebrities who were targeted, Woods willingly became part of the show's humor. The local high school in Quahog was named James Woods High, and he even voiced himself in multiple episodes. His character was portrayed as manipulative, chaotic, and absurd, often appearing to disrupt the Griffins' lives. Woods leaned into the parody, enjoying the chance to lampoon his own image. At first, he embraced the jokes fully, even stating in interviews that he loved making fun of himself and never asked to be paid for his appearances. One of his most notable storylines came in the Season 9 premiere, and then there were fewer. In the episode, Woods invites several characters to his mansion for a murder mystery dinner. He claims he wants forgiveness for his past misdeeds, but the gathering ends with Woods being stabbed and killed. It was a fittingly over-the-top end for his character, though his persona continued to be referenced in later seasons. However, the relationship between Woods and the show soured over time. In 2018, Woods announced on Twitter that he had declined to participate in a new Family Guy episode. He explained that he felt the script was too anti-conservative, and even worse in his view, that it was not funny, just mean-spirited. After that statement, there were no further appearances or cameos from him. What began as a playful collaboration ultimately ended with Woods feeling alienated, showing that even those who once enjoyed the ride could reach a breaking point. Carol Burnett. In the Season 5 episode Peterotica, Family Guy included a quick gag featuring Carol Burnett's iconic charwoman character. The scene is brief. Quagmire walks through an adult bookstore, and the joke is that the place is surprisingly clean because Burnett's charwoman is working as a janitor. The gag lasts only a couple of seconds, but it immediately became one of the show's most contentious celebrity parodies. Burnett did not take it lightly. She filed a lawsuit against Fox, claiming that the show had used her character without permission and that the parody infringed on her publicity rights. The suit sought damages reportedly ranging from $2 million to $6 million. Burnett argued that the use of her character in a sexualized context was a clear case of disrespect, especially given the wholesome reputation she had built over decades of comedy. The case went before Judge Dean Pregerson, who dismissed the claim. The court ruled that Family Guy's parody was protected under the First Amendment. However, the judge also acknowledged that the gag was distasteful and offensive to Burnett. Despite losing in court, Burnett's legal action highlighted how personally she took the parody and how much it clashed with her professional image. Unlike other celebrities who reacted with words or private grievances, Burnett escalated the matter to a courtroom. While she didn't win, her lawsuit demonstrated that Family Guy's jokes could provoke more than anger. They could trigger serious legal battles. The backlash. The reactions to Family Guy's celebrity jokes reveal just how divisive the show has been. For some, like Adrien Brody and Sarah Palin, the barbs left lasting resentment. Others, like Chloe Grace Moretz, weren't even the intended target, but still ended up hurt through viral associations. Cases like Terri Schiavo's family showed how parody could reopen real-life pain, while Rachel Bloom highlighted how satire can reinforce cultural biases. Dax Shepard offered a more measured response, showing how even small jokes can sting, while James Woods and Carol Burnett demonstrated how quickly enthusiasm can shift to rejection when lines are crossed. Together, these incidents illustrate the core of Family Guy's legacy. A show unafraid to mock anyone, regardless of status or sensitivity. But the fallout also shows why many people argue the series has gone too far. Whether through lawsuits, public feuds, or private grudges, the impact of these jokes proves that parody doesn't always roll off its targets. For some, the humor becomes a wound that never fully heals, feeding into the broader criticism that the show has lost its edge and relies more on cruelty than wit. I'm going to keep dropping more of these cartoon breakdowns, so if that's your thing, stick around. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for being here, and catch you next time.